All right, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us. This is our regular live stream that we're doing. We're co-streaming this in multiple channels. We've got Brian White from Future Aza. We have Jan from Tesla Fix. They're both in Jan's studio. And we have Nicholas Gibbs from Investing Against the Grain. Today, we're going to talk about the various news that's out there. A lot of it, there's a lot that you can see that Tesla is dropping hints. And of course, there's a lot that's not hints. They need to let people know that's happening. The vote is happening. The semi's been launched. But we'll talk about the robo-taxi, the potential views that we saw there of that video that they shared. How much of it is real, how much of it was hints, and how much of it was something that they're just really just trying to get us very excited about the future. So welcome everybody. Let's start with you, Brian. Tell us what's on your mind, and what did you think about that video drop that happened?
So first of all, I'm so jealous that I wasn't able to get to that event. Obviously, I'm in Europe, so that I couldn't get there. It was in Vegas, and there was a lot of great stuff shown at the, what was it, the not ACT, but the basically electrifying semis expo. And I thought it was surprising that we got to see as much as we did. So on the little cyber cab hints, those seem consistent with a number of rumors that we've seen. And I'm a little surprised that we got to see as much as we did. And I'm very curious to see what it actually looks like if we get to zoom out a little bit. So
you're
in that
talking
regard,
about the semi. You're talking about the semi then, there, right?
well, the semi event, which is where some of the footage we got came from, and then the semi and then the announcement even on the semi that PepsiCo is taking delivery of another 50 units, and we've seen units going out to others as well, to Walmart, to a shipping company that works with McDonald's. So there's a lot of good news going on, and I'm excited about it.
That's the semi. We'll talk about that a little bit later. I was referring to the video that Tesla dropped that's encouraging people to vote for shareholders.
Oh, that Nick, one, I apologize. Go ahead.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts, Nick? Or Jan? Yeah. Go ahead, Jan.
No.
Go ahead, Jan.
Okay, sorry. So the video was interesting to see that they put in this small nugget of the robotaxi, and people immediately started arguing, is it the front, is it the back? I would say it's the front from what it looks like. So it was pretty interesting to see it finally, that we have an indication there. Yeah, there it is. That's very short section. But it's interesting to see how it unfolded and how it kind of looks a little bit from the styling, and that it's really leaned on the Cybertruck. And that's surprising to me, because I thought, okay, maybe they won't go that route, but it's interesting. It has a different material, of course. It looks a little bit more with plastic parts as well. So, yeah. But
what do you think?
It's exciting.
Yeah. Nick?
Yeah. I thought it was a really good commercial advertisement, that was made. I kind of was more excited about the backstory regarding the fact that Elon didn't really, ask for this. This was done through other people. And to me, that just kind of shows the spirit within Tesla, that internally they're still very supportive of Elon. I think we all knew that, but I think it helps to reaffirm that going into this meeting, especially with a lot of noise going around and some people have left, layoffs and all that. But as far as the robotaxi part of it, I think it's, a lot of the things have been said. The fact that they're choosing to give us little leaks here, they're really leading us with the breadcrumbs to what they at least foresee is coming in the second half of 2024. And I think from their perspective, they think that they're going to be rolling out a service, and they're leading us there. They don't know for sure. Obviously, no one does. But Herbert, I think I heard you talking with Hans, talking about how they're at a point where they know how to find the problems, and they know how to iterate and how long it'll take to solve those given problems. Because now it's like a puzzle where they have a few pieces left. They know what those pieces are. They see what shapes are there, and they know how to go and find the right pieces needed to solve the remaining problems. So I think it's just a really bullish indicator, and optimism for technology moving into the future.
It's going to show you guys this photo here. Do you guys? I mean, like, would Tesla release something that's actual real? Is this what it's going to look like, or this is just them, in the past, and they were like trying to decide what it's going to look like, and this is one example of what they were reviewing, right? That's what this all looked like to me. Just they're not sharing you anything that's actually here. Do you guys think that they're actually showing you the real robotaxi?
I think they're getting close. I think they're showing you enough of an idea that you can get started. It was great when they gave us hints about Cybertruck, because those hints were worthless. We couldn't see what it was, and if they'd have shown us, we wouldn't have believed it, and then they did show us and we didn't believe it. These are understandable. I can wrap my head around this, and if it doesn't look, if it doesn't have the kind of, bulbous line aesthetic, I think it can still get us there. And this tells us that they've been working on it for a while. And that's what I needed to hear. And I think Nick got ahead of me in terms of vision on this. I think you were able to see better than I was that this was actually what was coming, because I was deeply skeptical. And this has, I would say, just kind of, proved me wrong.
It's the one time that's happened, Brian.
Don't let it get to your head.
Yeah. Herbert, just on this image here, I know a lot of people have been talking about the seats here, but
Yeah.
if you zoom in more to the left, it looks like Lamborghini type doors that go up, and I thought that was pretty
Wait,
interesting.
let me find it. Okay, what do you mean? Hold on a second. Let me find that. Here, you keep talking while I look for it.
Yeah, so if you just go right back to that image that you were on, where we see the two seats and Franz looking at it, well, there's two screens there. If you zoom into the screen on the left, up a little bit to the right.
I can't do it to the right. That
Right
one?
there, right there. Yep, right there. That looks like a door that's coming up, somewhat like what you would see like in a Lamborghini.
Yeah. Two of them.
Yeah.
No.
that's
Field
interesting.
goal.
No. Oh my gosh. No, I didn't see
That's
this.
another
I don't-
hit. I didn't. Well,
Yeah.
Am I the
I
first
don't
one to
agree.
point this out?
Yes. Well,
First time seeing.
I don't think it's gonna be like that. It's gonna be like the Model X Falcon wings.
I think those are too fiddly, especially for something that is mass produced. Even here we are all these years later, even the new Model X's, I've seen buyers with complaints on low miles. Those doors are fiddly. And if this is small enough that the doors can open swooshy like that while getting, while allowing enough clearance to go into most garages or most parking structures, I think this could be the solution.
yeah, absolutely. And what I also thought of when I saw that kind of those seats and those breadcrumbs spread around, that it's actually not with the steering wheel so far. I know that Tesla announced that they will push that back, at least, and start with the robotaxi at first. But for Europe, I'm still waiting. I'm still rooting for the smaller compact car that we need on European roads as well. I mean, the Model 3 is pretty small already, but it's still a ship. I mean, it's still a ship compared to the Fiat 500s that we are used to seeing in Europe and the smaller form factor. But I'm very sure that they will come out eventually, because I think it will take maybe more time for them to process FSD so far to get it through the regulations here in Europe. So I would say they will come out with a version with the steering wheel, probably also produced by Giga Berlin. That's my angle on this. But it's impressive. That also means that they really are 1,000% onto the robotaxi, and we've seen already the rollout of FSD 12, how it improved over time, and it's so damn close. And for the first time, it's really almost feelable that it's right around the corner, and I think people will be surprised how fast this kind of went in the end. Yeah.
Okay. I just found some photos here and I'm trying to show it, but the camera's location is very interesting, right? Sorry, just trying to put it together here. Here it is, I think.
While you do that, something that I really hope that this isn't the final design, because I would really hope that they would have, if there's two seats, that they would have two screens, because then there's a lot of different things you can do. For example, one, if Herbert and I are going and we're sharing a Tesla robotaxi, we can watch our own thing, have our Bluetooth headphones sync to the screen, or we're listening to something on our phone. Second we get in, it automatically shows up on the screen. But also from a economic perspective, let's say that I don't know Herbert, but we can robotaxi pool. What are we going to share a screen to watch or listen to music? It'd be nice to have the ability to do our own. But then again, maybe that's a moot point because it'll be so cost effective.
Okay, let's take a look at this, which is somebody pointed this out. They saw a Model 3 driving around, and it had these cameras attached to it. And this was a weird location. Why would they put this camera here? And you can see that they covered up this area here. And then people are saying that if you look at that location of that camera and you look back to this original design, that would be right up here. And it makes sense because if, oh my God, Nick, okay. If it is a foul, if it is the, I don't know, what do you call those doors? That's why.
Scissor?
Wing doors?
Scissor doors.
Scissor doors, yeah.
If it's a scissors doors, that's why this is shaped this way, and it pulls out, and that's why the camera is up in the top right here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because it wouldn't be obscured by the Falcon. Or it would be obscured by the Falcon, but not by the scissor.
And it won't have a pillar. It won't have a B pillar. That's the, right here. You don't have this B pillar right here. That's why you need to move the cameras to here.
That's true.
But and then you see that there's this one here, this camera here. It looks like it's sticking out a bit, like it's sticking out. And then there's a camera
protruding
in the back here, right here. So this sure looks like that these are the cameras that they're testing for a robo-taxi kind of shaped car.
Yeah. To me, when I saw this was more exciting than anything I've seen, even that commercial that came out. This
Suicide
is more exciting.
doors.
Well, no, I'm talking about this Tesla with the camera placement. It was more exciting because, this shows that they're testing it now so that once they release this, potentially we are going right into usability because they'll have the data from the cameras in these certain locations. It won't be now we have to go and do iterative testing. And this also makes sense because, they had to have a solution to be able to get the right miles with new camera placements and not have a steering wheel, right? So it just makes it really exciting that we see this out there and they're already starting to capture that data. So it just opens up the aperture for what could be on 8.8. Not to spread too much hopium, but it's fun to be excited. So I'll spread it.
So this video, this shot here, I just can't understand why they would make a chair like this. Doesn't make sense. It's too hard to clean. Why would you have so many, instead of just
cracker
a flat
catchers?
Chair? Yeah.
Cracker
catchers. What do you guys
and
think?
I think it's just for the prototype. I think it's just a concept. I think they would end up with something in between a taxi seat and a car seat.
Okay.
Because this is designed for 1 million miles.
I was going to say that might be intentional because if you can have all kind of crumbs and everything fall into one place, it makes it really easy to get in there with the shop vac, vroom, 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 right? Because you're kind of pushing everything. It's just like you want water to shed away from your house or away from your driveway. You're kind of funneling everything to one spot.
Yeah, what would be interesting if actually the interior would be kind of waterproof, if that makes sense. I don't know, because they maybe have some knowledge about this from the Cybertruck, because also like it has drain plugs there. That's a stretch, but I don't know. Who knows? Because it's weird. Those chair the way the chairs are weird. I think. But yeah,
it could be intentional.
Yeah, most material within vehicles or hospitals or anywhere, they tend to be maybe not waterproof as far as like submerging, but they're made to withstand X amount of rubs, X amount of spills, right? Like in volume, right? To be more of a what's the word I'm looking for?
Industrial.
Industrial, thank you. That's what I'm looking for. Industrial use rather than what we would see in our homes.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think just having it set up that way would be, and like Jan was saying, maybe not all the way to having drain plugs in the floor, but maybe having drain plugs in the floor. It depends on how much utility you need. And even having something like that, that's an optional addition that could be used or not used, provides more opportunities, I think.
Okay. I want to show another shot here. This is, I believe, what came from the Walter Isaacson biography,
Yeah.
right,
Yes,
guys?
yes.
This is what it looks like. And it's got the suicide doors. It's got the two-seater, and it looks like this. Now, this is just what they show. But look at the rear. Just take a look at that rear, because this is the shot that they oops. Whoa, what happened there? There. This is the shot that they shared on that recent video they dropped yesterday, 2 days ago. And that looks just like it would possibly could look like at the rear here.
I'm not 100% sure on that, because when you look back at the picture, you see that there is an indent on the right, or like a line on the right, where the metal or the plastic, whatever it is, whatever material, it goes up. So I'm not sure if you look at the picture of the Isaacson's book again. I think this might resemble the front a little bit more, but we don't really know what's happening there. But I get the point from the perspective that it has two materials in the back. It obviously has two materials, the plastic one and the paint. So,
So are we thinking it would be three-wheeled?
No.
no.
Yeah.
So first of all,
It would be, I think, four-wheeled, but the back wheels would be covered, maybe, because then the wind resistance would be much better. Also, when it's like drop-shaped a little bit, then it has a better wind resistance, aerodynamic. Yeah, the opposite of that. Yeah.
I'm going to make the
Less
point at
bright.
this point that all of this is crap. None of it is real. Everything we just saw with the Walter Isaacson book, the things that they dropped on a video, this is not what the car is going to look like. They're showing you their thought process of what they had thought about in the past. They're trying, just like if you look at that video, they shared a lot of parts about the Cybertruck and how they initially created the Cybertruck, but it was a prototype of the Cybertruck. They weren't showing you the actual manufacturing. They were just showing you what they built, how they got there. This is not what it's going to look like at all. These are not, this is not it.
all?
And we
At
did
all.
see, we also saw from the Walter Isaacson book, the wall full of potential sketches of what the Cybertruck could have been. And all of those looked pretty awesome to me.
I don't know. So do you think they're hints, Nick? You think that is the potential front of the car, this one here?
I mean, you say that none of this at all is what it's going to look like. I mean, I can almost guarantee you it's going to be two seats. I can almost bet you it's going to have some unique door opening. I can almost guarantee you there's no steering wheel or pedals. I can almost guarantee you it's going to have some Cybertruck-like aesthetic the way we see here. I mean, you don't just say Cybercab on earnings call for the first time ever out of nowhere. So I think you may be right. It's not going to look like this in real life.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But it's definitely, I think, going to have a relationship to this. It'll be a cousin to this. So I just push back on the all absolute.
Fine.
Of it.
I agree with you. I'm just saying that you're right. I do think it's going to be cyber. I've been saying that for almost a year.
You have.
That it doesn't make
sense. A long time.
Yeah. And everybody pushed back on me. Steel, it's too expensive. And then Hans explained that there's actually multiple different kinds of steel that they can use that's a lot more affordable. But, Cybercab makes it sound like it's going to be cyber inspired. It makes more sense that it is cyber inspired. Why would they create this whole new vehicle line and just use it one time only for the Cybertruck? But so this looks cyber inspired. This shot that we're taking a look at this. I guess, okay, I'll give it to you. This could be a hint. Because they flashed it like in microsecond. It was a microsecond flash. Right. But
The other thing I'm
don't think
seeing is that looks like a bumper that could be detached and serviced. Like if people are going to bump, if it's going to be used as much as a taxi, especially in a busy city, it might get some bumpage, and that is a piece of plastic that can easily be replaced if it's scratched or otherwise lightly damaged.
Yeah. So let's play the robo-taxi video, the part of it in the video. And I completely slowed this down so that it makes it a little bit easier for us to watch this. And so this is just normal, right? This is just a normal shot of a normal car. And then they show this actual app in usage. So it's a skeptic is talking right now. So here you go, pressing the summon button. What do you guys think of that? That's for sure real. This is going to be it. You press the
I
summon
love that.
button.
The idea is that all of this is going to be real. The question is when. And if you'd asked me before version 12 came out, I'd have said, no one knows. It is impossible to know. And now I'd say fairly soon. It's on the foreseeable horizon for the first time. I'd like to get any of the, smart features working. I'd love to see it. I'd love to be able to banish my car on a rainy day in the parking lot. And it looks like we are, getting there finally, that the finish line is in sight.
I would add here that I don't think that those interface designs that we've seen, I mean, I can see that it's loosely based on that, but for example, the 3D view that we saw with the route of the car coming, that's unrealistic in my opinion, because that would assume that you have 3D map data that you have to process to kind of be live, and I don't see that in the interface design. So I would say that this kind of view that we see here in the picture is not how it's going to end up. Like maybe the interface below, but not the map. So that's my
Really? I mean,
the
part that I would push back on that is they actually showed that on earnings day. It was in the shareholder deck. They showed the 3 slides. They can make changes to it, but why would they, of all things, why would they want to hide what the app will look like? They want to actually show you, we've built the app. It's well on its way. Here's what it looks like.
But to me, it still seems like a concept, kind of a little bit, with the length of the 3D housing on the side, because that depends. I mean, it could be possible to do, but I think all the other features would be more realistic. But yeah, I mean,
Yes.
they could do the map as well, but I think it's too complex, in my opinion. So from that perspective. Yeah.
To opine on that, I think that they could easily do it. We already know that they are doing some internal mapping of their own. We saw when Andre Karpathy was still on board, when we were in the whole bag of bits occupancy network era, right, where they were showing us the vehicle drive and recreating the world around it in 3D, right? So I think a lot of these things start to piece themselves together, and that might be what we're seeing there. Doesn't mean that you'll be able to see a true representation everywhere, but where the vehicles are roaming around, right, I think they're starting to stitch things together.
Okay, that's a very good point. Yeah, I have to give you that. Yeah, that's true.
I would say on that though, that while the car would have all that data, transmitting it over the network to the phone, do you really want them transmitting the equivalent of a whole video rather than just simple telemetry data? I don't think it's a big deal either way today though.
Yeah, that's not how you do it. You would keep it in a static form, so you would already have the maps pre-made, and it would sit in AWS or wherever. And then whenever you, as your user profile, reaches out, that's where all of that would happen. And I say AWS because we know that Tesla uses AWS now, but at the same time, I think this is what this whole Dell partnership is about. It's not about, I've been talking about this for the last couple of days, but it's not about NVIDIA. It's not about GPUs. It's not about training. I think it's about that. We need to be able to host all of these profiles, these interfaces, all that. And so I think they're building out their own private cloud as we speak.
That's pretty exciting and amazing and huge and expensive. But they know how much data they need to manage. So I guess it makes sense in that regard.
Okay, let's talk about more hints. In this case, I don't know if it's hints because it's actually Elon talking, actually sharing information. This is Lord Pretty Flaco. I've been telling folks to follow him. he keeps track of a lot of events that's been happening. In this example, he tracked just the things that happened in May 6th to May 15th. We're talking 2 weeks, just as of last week. And every single day, every other day, you're seeing Elon tweeting about FSD, and he's sharing you information about what to expect. And so if people are still thinking that, when Elon says something, it is, discounted, it's not real. Here he is, right? Talking about that the limiting factor for FSD progress was AI training compute. They've said that many, many times now, but it is validation. Interventions are so rare now. Do you take that as a hint? Do you take that as reality? He says that it's going to blow your mind. Now, he said that many times before, so that part you can basically agree. Start rolling out 12.4 next week. This is May 8th, and I think it started rolling out just a few days ago. So it was probably a few days late, but the nag's going to be fixed in that 12.4. It's completely retrained. It's going to be a lot more, comfortable. Fix the acceleration and braking too fast. And it's going to start doing things like this, unique thing of being able to reverse out of a one-way road. And it's going to be able to communicate to the rest of the fleet. I didn't know what that actually meant. I don't believe that's car to car. I think that's car to, to server and server to fleet and fleet back. Is half a decade ahead of other car I can't remember which robotaxi they're talking about. And then 12.4 internally released this weekend, 5 to 10 times improvement in miles per intervention. And then Brett Winton of ARC says, well, actually, if you carry that forward by June, maybe it could be 25 to 100 times improvement. But look at this list. This is just the last 2 weeks. Are these hints, or are they just facts, or are you taking them with a grain of salt?
So I'm going to take them as facts. Those are absolutely facts. But it used to be that we would get excited to see an FSD update once a month, every 2 months, and then he said, "Oh, we're going to be seeing them every week or two." And I know I was skeptical. Why wouldn't I be? And now we are seeing them, and the iterations between the 12 dots is fantastic. Again, we saw the first one come out and we're like, wow, this has solved a lot of the problems. It does some new things I don't like. It hugs the curb too much. And then all of a sudden it didn't hug the curb anymore. And a lot of the other things went away. Some of the less smooth braking and accelerating was worked out, at least partially. So when we're seeing these iterative changes, I am very excited. And then we heard, 12.4 will be coming out soon to employees. And then we saw it show up for employees, leading us to believe that everything is staying on pace. Is it all, big announcements because we want you to be excited? Yes, but I think the announcements are still true. So, yeah.
Your turn, Nick.
I agree with everything that's being said. I think I think these are all true. I don't think there's any reason not to think that they are.
And exciting.
So, Nick, what's your guess of what you're going to see by 8.8? Not that 8.8 has to solve robotaxi, but what's your belief that what version would we at? How much better would it be?
Oh, those are very difficult questions to guess. Let me answer it a different way. I don't know what version we'll be on or what nomenclature they'll use. I don't know how much better it'll be. I think by 8.8, it'll be very clear to us as users of FSD that it's done. I said this to you the other day, Herbert. I believe today it's done. I think right now they're polishing. They're figuring out a few little things. But I think by 8.8, it'll be done enough to actually have a prototype of a robotaxi fleet out there.
Okay, wait.
That's big.
That's not
a real big claim.
A fleet of robotaxi out there, meaning that they're not only going to show you a prototype, and they're going to say we're going to create 100 of these next year. You're thinking that they're going to say what?
Oh yeah. So okay. Yeah. I guess let me explain what I think this rollout looks like. So, like I said, a prototype, a POC fleet of robotaxis. So this won't be the actual robotaxi vehicle that we've been looking at. I think they start with the lease vehicles that they have on hand that they haven't allowed anybody to buy or sell. They start with that. It's about a 1 year per city that they're in. Maybe that starts shortening after a while, but of having a human driver behind the wheel, actual safety driver, and then as they can prove to city officials or whatnot, whatever their process is, then you don't need to have the driver in there. And that's just in time for the actual robotaxi that we're talking about now to come out into production and start backfilling into those cities. And then it just keeps on scaling from there.
I think that's a little too steep in my opinion. I would say that I can see that they have for the German translation here. But I think they will show the whole ecosystem from left to right. And I think that is huge enough almost to see, because we see how FSD is performing on the road. I'm not sure. They might have concepts or a small, maybe a geofenced area where they can showcase this and stuff like this to show, here's the user profile and the whole integration, how this would work, so they can explain the concept completely, and that they can show it to more lawmakers to get the process rolling faster. That's what they already did. For example, in Munich, they also drove around with FSD with the version that you have in the US, which is pretty significant to see those test vehicles spotted around Europe as well. This is for me also a huge indication that they are pretty far, as well as that they that Elon went to China and figured that out. So I would say it's near. Is it the 888? I don't know. I wouldn't say that they have a fleet there already, but
so they already have a fleet today. We know this.
The lease vehicles. Yep.
They do not allow anybody to purchase lease vehicles. They keep them themselves. There's a reason for this. This is part of a plan. There's no other company that does that.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
That's the biggest hint right there, right? And they'll want to use them, and they're probably outfitting them. But so they don't need to outfit them. They already have the cameras where they need to, and they've been testing it. Yeah, that's right, Nick. That's pretty bold for you to jump that far. But
we got to get there eventually, right?
We do.
We got to get there eventually.
Yeah.
One way or another, we have to go through these steps. So why wouldn't we learn about those on 8.8? I'm not saying they'll happen on 8.9. Maybe they say Q1 of 2025. But my point is, if they're going to talk to us beginning to end of how this is going to happen, what better place than 8.8?
Okay, well, let's talk about that. Why would it not be 8.8? Because last time you and I spoke, you said if they wanted to, they could do this today. You think that FSD today is already robotaxi ready, and I pushed back on that concept. But maybe by 12.4, 12.5, maybe 12.8, maybe 13, for sure, at that point, I can feel comfortable doing it at that point. Without any teleoperation, without any person available to, but they'll probably have that set up is just in case you need it. There'll be somebody there.
Yeah, let me clarify. Oh, go ahead, Brian.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think that's tough to say because the teleoperators is a whole other beast. How many of them are you going to get? How much training do they have? How does it scale? And I can agree that something like that would be critical if you launch it too soon. And that's the whole idea of launching it when it's actually ready. Because if they wanted to, and we've talked about this before, if they wanted to do that coast-to-coast drive on level 5, they could study just for that test and have had it done years ago. But they want something that will work everywhere in every case. And boy, I just don't know if the digital Sherpa route is the way they would want to go.
Yeah, I 100% agree, Brian. Just to put some context around my words of, I think today they could have a robotaxi. My point was, if they wanted to, they could easily geofence what they have right now, They could say, hey, avoid certain unprotected left-hand turns. Hey, avoid these type of maneuvers, avoid these areas, right? They could right now use heuristics to really kind of constrain it and put out a robotaxi. I think it's good enough. Is it as smooth as you may want it? Maybe not. Will it do some jerkiness? Maybe it will. Can it do can it back up? Yes, we know it can back up, right? So everybody who talks like, oh, it still doesn't back up yet, or oh, it can't do a K-turn or whatever. No, it can. They just don't let it, right?
Right.
U-turns. Oh, it can't do a U-turn, right? Yes, it can. Mine does it all the time. It tells me it can't. It tells me to assist it, but it'll do it on its own. So my point is, if they wanted to, if it was do or die tomorrow, they could have something out there today, is my point.
So I'm going to agree with you 100% because I think you're absolutely right. And this was a discussion we saw with Chuck Cook that I even asked him about is why don't they just skip your turn? Just go to the right. And he said, well, going to the right in a U-turn, that's more dangerous. Great. Why don't they take a right and then make 3 more rights and then a left where it's protected? And they could absolutely do that. When Omar and Ryan from the Kilowatts, yes, did their race through San Francisco, I think it was the Cruise car. They tried to make all of them take, I want to say Lombard Street or one of the really tricky ones. And Cruise said, you know what? I'm going to skip this by parking a half a block away and saying, I'm here. Come get in. And so I don't have a problem with that. If there are streets that you struggle with, don't take them. I will still get where I'm going. It might add 30 seconds to my journey or 2 minutes, but if I'm not driving, I really don't care. So I think you're right, Nick. I think that's something that I've overlooked, and I think that's a good point.
And to be clear, I'm happy they're not doing that because this is the delta between them and everyone else. Not to mention the fact that they could do this trick, if you will, everywhere, whereas everyone else can't. But this is the difference in collecting that very hard to find edge case data and to actually solve the problem versus doing something that's brittle but saying, oh, we were here first, right? It's that's the difference.
Yeah.
Okay. And we all agree that 8.8 is a hint that it's going to be China will be one of the early ones to launch this, or just coincidence? Because he did say it's partially why he chose 8.8 was, the 8.8 is a very lucky dragon number for Year of the Dragon, also for China.
I might mistaken here something, but maybe you can help me puzzle this together. But didn't China announce that they are planning a hub where they can transfer data, kind of? There is a data hub there? And
there's a region there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a region in near Shanghai that is considered to be a free trade zone, and then they agreed and they said we're willing to send out certain data, letting foreign entity companies send out foreign data.
And that's what I mean. Like maybe it's tied to that. Could be that's. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, it's a lot of little hints like that one, and then the a lot of opening up of many different kinds of pilot areas where they're opening it up for autonomous vehicle approval. So very likely they're setting it up for Tesla to be able to do this.
Yeah, and I would say that on that, the fact that they've differentiated the types of data that can be and cannot be exported, the generalized data, which I think is the foundation of the training, is what they want to have, what they need to get out, and I think that would make it work.
Okay. This Robert Hirsch said this, Nick, there's an image of a 4-seater cybercab in a Tesla video. It's at the 5-second mark before the image of the Shanghai factory. I don't know where it is, so let me find it. Is this the one he's referring to? No, that's a semi. So I'm trying to find the 5-second mark. I completely just made it very, very slow. So if this is super slow down, 5-second mark would be at the 10-second mark or something like that. I don't know. So can you look out for where he thinks it's a 4-seater cybercab right before the Gigafactory China? Is that the one? No. Is that a hint right there, guys? Did you see that?
No.
No, haven't seen anything.
No. If you see this, the it's got the Cybertruck lights, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Oh,
then right after that, they do the robotaxi.
Well, I didn't see
Okay,
Shanghai
is that-
right after.
maybe
there's
that's what he's
Shanghai. So
referring
go
to.
right before that. Ah, well, that's a 3.
Yeah, that's definitely a 3. I sit in that thing.
Then
every day.
I think I
No.
saw what he's talking about. There's that.
It's the
There's
white
a
seats.
semi. Yeah, that's a Cybertruck. There.
That.
No,
That's
looks
a
like
3.
That's a 3.
That's a 3 performance,
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah. It's a performance one because the regular Highland has the seating on top here is different.
I would say thank you to Robert for the suggestion, though. That was a good guess. But all of these are guesses. So,
Yeah, I also like the. I didn't notice this. Someone else did, and I've probably seen it talked in some videos. But where on the app, it has like 4 little spots to select like how many people are going to be in this, or like how many seats do you
Yes.
need? 1, 2, 3, or 4.
Yes.
Which
Yeah.
just echoes the whole idea of using our vehicles in the fleet as well.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. Okay, well there you go. So those are the hints that we think is happening with Robotaxi. I still think that many of this is things that we've already seen before. This is not like we didn't find a corner of it or anything. But they do like to drop hint Easter eggs though, so possible. But it's
Herbert,
unlikely.
let me take the mic for a second here. What does Herbert think 8-8 reveals? Let's
That's true.
please.
What's your opinion?
It's changed so much every time I speak to
as
other
it
people.
should.
And then-
As it
and
should.
after
We're
I spoke
learning
to
every
you,
day.
no, I mean, I guess my opinion has been influenced by people like you. Now it's like, is it really going to be a launch at that date? And as the months go in, and as I see the progress, and as I see Elon saying things like this, I'm becoming more convinced that you guys are right, that it's going to come sooner than we expect, that the app will be ready, that they're going to actually show the app working, that they're going to actually show. Of course, they're going to do that demo, but that they're going to launch this sooner than we think. That's as far as I'll go. I don't know.
If that also ties in, what would be very funny actually would be that it's exactly how they showed it. It's everything is exactly like we saw, because then they have the app and they just hide it in plain sight probably, because everybody is like thinking, how about it's a little bit different? Was it a different design stage? Maybe they just say, yeah, you saw it all day. But the interesting thing is the infrastructure around that, how it ties together. Maybe that's the reveal. And you know what I mean? Like the surprise. It's actually like it is, and it's about the how it ties together.
Or I'd say it could also be about the pricing. It could also be about the materials used to make it. It could also be about integration of LFP batteries on the new platform. It could be any of those things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so why would he then do this? Why would he say the Tesla team put this together of their own volition? I did not ask for it. And then FSD Beta Test Pilot asked, does this mean that they leaked Robotaxi details without his express permission? Of course they wouldn't do that.
They did that so he wouldn't get in trouble.
Yeah, I wouldn't say. No, I think that's improbable. You wouldn't put something like this out by accident. This went through a lot of hands before.
It feels kind of significant.
Those
for
are
a leak.
new shots that they did. Those were beauty shots, and I assume that those, for example, the bumper that we saw, I don't know if they would hire a videographer to go there and just like spin around because it was a professional shot. I assume that's from a sort of trailer that we're about to see.
Yeah.
Oh,
So that's my opinion, because it was too short. The shot was too precise, too good, not too professional. It looked like they used a professional cinema camera actually to do that.
I like
That's my
this.
opinion. Yeah. So
Wow,
from
brilliant.
my video production angle, maybe I could add something here, but yeah.
Yeah. So here's why I might change my mind, Nick. It's this shot right here. Right? Here's
Yes, that's the same. That's
an
the most
actual
exciting
car.
thing.
Yeah.
It's an actual car driving in reality. Somebody caught this, showed the video of these video cameras. why would they already be testing in the wild video cameras placed in these locations
Yes.
if they aren't already at this point, just like the Cybertruck, right? It takes a little bit of time to take your FSD and apply it to a new form factor. Is this too early for them to be doing this? That means that they have design locked the robotaxi, which I would believe that that's the case. That means that they're probably already, building the robotaxi, and then now they're getting ready. If they're already doing this test today, maybe by the end of this year, even sooner.
So is it too early? I would say the answer is obviously not if they're doing it. But the better question is, how long has that test mule been on the road and we never saw it? Because it's impossible to think that we would notice everything immediately. Now with Tesla, there is an outsized amount of attention, the fan base. Well, we get a little rabid from time to time, but it's entirely possible that this has been out there for months. Maybe if it was training after dusk, you would never see the cameras. You would never notice anything off about it, except maybe there's some damage to the B pillar. So it's entirely possible that this has been out for months.
Now, just to play a little devil's advocate, we're assuming this is for the robotaxi.
Right.
For all we know, this is just internal testing. For all we know, this actually has something to do with the Cybertruck that helped it get to FSD for 12.45, whenever it is.
And that's what I had said, is that because of the height of it and how far back it is, it about matches where the B pillar would be on the Cybertruck, but it's just one theory. Please continue.
Oh, I was just going to say, or this is interesting camera placement for a potential third party. And where they would have theirs.
I love that.
Ooh, that's also a nice theory. Gotta say. Yeah.
My point is just that we don't know this for the robotaxi, and I want to
know
make
it's
sure.
for the robotaxi. Look,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Look.
Seriously, the triangle on top of there, even that it's the shaped like it is. Go back to the picture because it's shaped differently. That's the thing. That's the thing that I agree here totally with Herbert. I think that's where the triangle is from the.
I listen. I'm leaning towards robotaxi as well, but we have to be good
Yeah,
stewards
of course.
of intellectual honesty and making sure
That's
that
true.
we ask all the right questions so we can get to the right answer.
I should probably come on when you need a hype man, but because I'm a little bit too emotional about this stuff, because I am so pumped about this release.
Yeah, I couldn't sleep after I saw this one. When I saw this, I was like, "Oh my god, this is happening. This is real."
why, Nick? When it could just be the Cybertruck, when it can just be another car? Why did you fall asleep?
Well, and Jan's been acting. I've been here working as not his hype man, but whatever the opposite is. He gets excited, and I just remind him, "Nah, it's nothing."
The wife.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Oh yeah. Hey,
All right,
who told you our wedding date?
Oh, really? Oh, honestly, are you getting married?
No.
What? That's a secret?
That breaks my heart, but okay, it's fine.
Okay. All right. Well, let's talk other hints here. I mean, let's talk the shareholder vote. Them sending out the letters, them sending out this new, request by Robin Denholm, and then asking for people to vote, advertising on Google to try to get people to vote. Are these hints that they are behind, that they need this to happen? Where do you guys land on that?
I don't think they know that they're behind. I don't think they're allowed to know the results of the vote yet, are they? I think it would be.
They would know.
Oh, they would know? Then
Well,
they are
first of all,
absolutely behind.
There's a service that Alexander Mertz found. I can't remember its name, Broadstone or something like that. That's a service that they're using, and that one of the things that it says on their website is that they can actually track on your behalf proxy voting. But they would be contacting the big institutionals, and they would know where they stand. One of the interesting another hint is that Elon actually liked the chief technology officer of is it the chief technology officer, chief investment officer of BlackRock. He actually followed his X account. So why would you follow BlackRock's X account, this guy's X account, except that maybe they convince them that they should vote in favor of Tesla.
Is that all it takes to get all those votes as a follow on X? I think Elon made a calculated decision to put this up to a vote. I didn't think it was the best decision, but I don't always voice my disagreement, because whenever you do, if you say this one thing could have been handled a little differently, people say, well, you're not the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company. And no, I'm not. I'm also not a world-class chef, but I know when the stew is off. So I think he may have overestimated shareholder appetite. The people who were invested in 2017, 18, 19 have done very, very well. But there are a lot of shareholders today who got in 2020, 2021, who have seen very little gains and in many cases, strong losses. And I think those people have a bad taste in their mouth and would like to rinse it out rinse out the musk, if you will.
Yeah. So I think there's two different questions here that need to be asked. One, are they going around advertising and courting investors, institutional investors, for Elon's comp or for the relocation to Texas? I think it's more so for that latter. Everybody knows at this point that there is risk of Elon leaving should he not get his comp package. There's risk of it. You don't have to be that smart to know that. And if you're invested in the company, you are self-sabotaging yourself if you vote against his comp package to risk him leaving. And that would take a lot of people doing that. Now, maybe people want that. Maybe some of these institutional investors want him out of the company. But then they're going to lose a lot of money, because Tesla stock will, maybe long-term it'll be an Apple, an Amazon type story. In the short term, you know the stock's going to take a dump. So I don't think there's a real risk on that front. But with that said, hope is not a strategy, so go vote. I keep saying that, vote, don't hope. As far as moving, that's the harder part, right? Because at least 50% of people there has to be a quorum, right? So 50% of people have to show up to vote. And then from there, of those 50%, there has to be a majority. And so I think that might be where the real campaigning is headed towards. But that's, again, me just hoping that that's the issue, and it's not his comp plan, because that would be insane to me. That would be people really have such a issue with this man for doing what, I don't know exactly, but they have such an issue with him that they're willing to sacrifice their own investment, their own dollars, just to see him hurt. That's a lot of people who really have an axe to grind. And I just feel like humanity's not that disenfranchised with him. When you see everywhere else he goes outside the States, people love him.
Got another hint. Okay, I think this is a big hint. You guys tell me. Big hint. So in 2022, Elon Musk posted this on Twitter: "I will not let you down, no matter what it takes." And then a couple days ago, Alexandra Mertz and a number of other, Twitter community members forwarded this and said, dead on target. Elon Musk liked this tweet. So I said, I wonder what this like from Elon might mean. It's a hint. I will not let you down, no matter what it takes.
What do you think the hint is?
You keep pushing it back on me, Nick.
No, all right.
It's a rhetorical question, Nick. It's a rhetorical question.
Not. It can't be, because my thought is that what that means to me is that he won't leave if the vote doesn't go his way.
Yes, that's what I meant. It's rhetorical.
Not the way I read it.
Well, how do you? Let's hear it. Bring it on.
If you vote for me and you entrust me, I will not let you down, no matter what it takes. But if you don't have confidence in me, oh
God, Nick.
That is exactly how I read that when I saw that. I was like, if you nominate me, if you reinstate me, if you give me my comp plan back, I will not let you down, no matter what it takes. But if you show no confidence in me,
But I couldn't see that, because when you build up a company like this, and I mean it's still his baby kind of. I see that as it is. Even if his let's say that he hasn't the majority shares now. I still think that he won't let the teams down and everything. Yeah, but we will see. Maybe he's just confident that he will win. Maybe could
Okay.
also
I don't
be.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so here's why. Okay, Alexander Mertz, as you know, has been heroically doing an amazing job pushing and getting people to make the vote. He has reposted Alexandra before this. He was sharing many of her votes, like many of her tweets actually got millions of views because Elon forwarded it. So Alexandra has been talking the last several days, 100% all about shareholder vote. So then she did this, she liked it. I will not let her down no matter what. He is very aware of what's going on right now. This conversation amongst the bulls saying, oh my gosh, is he going to leave? Is he not going to leave? He's saying, I will not let you down. That's what he's referring
I thought
to.
he was rickrolling us.
Never gonna let you down.
Oh, yeah, that could be.
Just saying.
Okay. All right. I mean, yeah, these are hints. We don't know, of course. I don't know. This is a big stretch. That one could mean nothing. Absolutely nothing. So, but that's what the show is about today. Are there any hints? Is there anything else you guys might have seen that are hints that, like, for example, isn't it just today that there was an event that's being put up where they have like 15 European politicians going to be giving a test drive of FSD to Tesla, and Elon himself is registered as a person that's going to be there to do this. Did you guys see this? Yeah.
First, I'm hearing about this.
No, yeah, I haven't heard about this.
I posted it
Breaking
on my
news.
X, but then I pulled it because Alex Voigt said he pulled his post about it because it was sharing schedules and it was maybe kind of sharing
safety.
safety issues.
Doxing. Yeah.
Yeah. But basically,
That's
it's
tough.
like you can actually see people's names all kind of like, taking the FSD test drive. This is after Boris. Is that a hint? Boris tested out the FSD as well, right? Boris Johnson. So, I mean, I don't know.
I don't
These are
think
not-
that one's a hint.
No,
He's not
no.
relevant in legislation anywhere in the world any longer.
Okay, what about Argentina?
I think he's relevant in Argentina. Yeah. No, I don't know.
Elon visited, right? He actually said that you should invest in Argentina. Jeff Lutz says you're not going to tell people to invest there if you yourself aren't investing there.
Can I say one other thing real quick with regards to the vote and all that? Just again, go vote. Not saying don't vote, but I also believe that all these people that have this vitriol towards Elon and Tesla, and I think mostly it's to Elon, not Tesla, I don't think they would still be in the stock at this point, right? If you had
Correct.
that much of hatred that you want to see this man burn or whatever, I mean, unless you decided to buy stock before April 15th just so that you could stick it to him, like that's a bit wild. So I almost wonder how much of that plays into it because, man, after everything we've been through over the last 2.5, 3 years, you would think people are pretty much out of it if they aren't on board with Elon, who he is as a CEO, as a leader. What are your thoughts on that?
So I think that it makes people nervous when you don't see big movements happening at Tesla and Elon tweeting more and more political stuff, for example, that at some point you're like, are you still working at Tesla? That's what investors sometimes do. Like they get scared. But in reality, yeah, he's doing a lot, and Twitter or X is on the side. So I would say that, yeah, we can see now the results of that, and I think this will twist that around pretty fast when you see what boundaries they are pushing.
Yeah.
There.
That whole
That's
thing
the best
about
help. Yeah.
is he working at Tesla? Is he not? And you have people like Ross Gerber and Gary Black, and they keep saying like he needs to be committed to X amount of time at Tesla for work. That is such a archaic mindset. Value is not associated with time. Okay, if you are using amount of hours somewhere to equate to your value, then you're not that valuable of a person. You are an hourly employee, right? If I can paint your house in 30 minutes, what does it matter to you, right? If I didn't spend the whole day doing it, as long as I did the job done, it got done well. That's the value I add. And so people just equate this time spent in hours with value, and they're missing it.
Best example would be Nike. It was a napkin drawing from the secretary, and she did that in 5 minutes or 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Huge value there. I mean, in this branding, it's a different story, but still, I mean,
Yeah. Can you pull that back up, Herbert? What does that say?
Oh, it said, according to some in the chat, they still have a problem with Elon and still hold the stock. Thanks, DRK.
So, Herbert, Jan and I are about to jump off and go to our live Q&A for people who want to ask us questions of all kinds. Nick, it was awesome hanging out with you. I look forward to seeing you next week. And everybody else, join us over on either Tesla Fix or on Futuraza. We will be there starting within seconds.
Yeah. As soon as I end the stream, it will redirect folks there. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you all. Thanks, Nick.
Cheers,
Thanks,
everybody.
Click it.
Jan, and thanks.
Bye.
thank you very
Brian.
much.
Click it now.
Bye.
Click it now.